Okay, first off, this is going to be super cringe. I mean, honestly, no one should be going back to watch these videos. These are not good. But you know what? That's just the natural progression of things. And I did make a few predictions before this season. Shout out to RecNeps3 for this idea to go back and kind of review what I said and evaluate how I did. So, let's effectively watch this together, cringe together too. So just be aware. I'm going to try to skip as much of this as I can, but it is bad. Take it away, past Marv. What is up, guys, and welcome back to Marv on Air. I don't know if you guys knew this, but the 2022-2023 NFL season is officially behind us. Okay, so why am I talking like it's literally... Okay, we're going to skip through to the first prediction. Let's go ahead right here. Let's jump right into it with the Cardinals, okay? Cardinals, dude, it's hard to put them anywhere because they just are horrible. They got their new head coach, Shane Steichen, from the Eagles. No, pretty sure Shane Steichen's a coach for the Colts, right? I was in my own head, but yeah, I was completely flat out wrong. It is Jonathan Gannon for the Cardinals, so does this even have any credibility anymore? I mean, Jesus. All right, let's just find out where we're at. Kyler Murray will eventually be back. I think they will be playing spoiler, though. I do not see them doing anything with this roster. J.J. Watt retired. And it seems like they're just... Could I speak any slower? No. But I was kind of on point here. Remember, the Cardinals did beat the Cowboys and the Eagles this year, so they did kind of play spoiler a little bit, and they weren't really in the runnings for the #1 pick this year. This year it goes Bears, Washington, and then my Patriots. So, I feel like I got the Cardinals right here. Falcons. All right, now, when you look at the NFC South from last year... Okay, the whole division was 7-10, and the Bucs just barely eked into the playoffs with a negative record. So, I'm not saying they can't make anything happen. I don't know if I'll be able to review this whole video. It is literally 25 minutes long, and I don't pick up the pace once. I mean, I'm gonna have to edit out a lot of this, but let's see how it goes. I might just jump to the end and just kind of look through. Desmond Ridder didn't play great, but he didn't play horrible. So I think I'm going to put them in the wild card. You know, I don't actually hate that. I don't think I was super far off because of the way the NFC South went, they were technically in it until like 2 weeks from the end. Kind of what I was saying. Like, it's just such a crapshoot. Actually, let's put them at top of playing spoiler because I could see maybe the Saints making a move. And I think I'll put the Saints in the wild card, but So, actually, I was right on about that. Let's check really quick. Okay, let's see. This was published February 16th. When did the Saints acquire Derek Carr? March 6th. Okay, so this happened about 2 weeks before the Saints acquired Derek Carr. So I was right on about that. They did make a move. The Saints did beat them the last week of the season, and I feel like the Saints were technically closer to getting in the playoffs, but I think that whole NFC South is going to be pure garbage again. Took the words right out of my mouth, sir. All right, let's go to the Ravens. Okay, now this is a pivotal one. It really just depends on where Lamar goes, right? So Lamar, if he re-signs, I think their divisional round... No. If he re-signs, I'll put him in the wild card. Top of wild card. If he doesn't re-sign with them, they got to be playing spoiler. But I like them there. I think they're pretty much a playoff team no matter what. Somehow, which always seems weird. The NFC or the AFC North it's tight, but they're like a second place team, right? They finished 10-7, second place in the NFC. This is the last time I bring up anything about the video itself. The fact that this has 183 views is literally insane. And to any one of you that was around at this point, you are beyond a real one. This sucks. As far as the actual Ravens comments, I was a little bit wrong. They obviously are Super Bowl favorites. They got the 1 seed, but a lot of my pick hinged on where Lamar was going to go. So they did make the playoffs. I was correct about that, but they obviously need to be in the Super Bowl favorites. The Bills, now this one's tough because they're kind of like the Cowboys. They just always get so close and they can't get over the hump. So I'll put them as contenders for the divisional round. I don't think they're going to be AFC championship contenders by any means, but they are definitely one of the better teams in the NFL right now. Okay, for the Bills, pretty good. Divisional round contenders feels a little bit low. Obviously, on this scale, they're in the right spot, but I feel like they are definitely in the conversation for the Super Bowl. So I'm going to put them at playing spoiler again. It seems like we've got a lot of these teams right now. A lot, bro. 3 of them. Chill. Obviously wrong about the Panthers there. They got the #1 pick. They didn't even have to fight for it. They had secured like week 14. Bears. Justin Fields just came out and said that he wishes Chicago had a dome. Kind of sounds like he wants out of there. I think, obviously they've got the number 1 pick. A lot of teams could potentially be fighting for that, like with some trades and such. We saw Jim Irsay come out and basically tell everyone what he was doing in the draft. I'm going to go ahead, put them 1 rank above where they were this year. Obviously, they have the number 1 pick, so they were in this category all year long. Let's put them at the bottom of playing spoiler. Right, that NFC North is a pretty tight division now, with the Vikings apparently looking pretty good. Green Bay is most certainly moving on from Rodgers. Whether Rodgers plays at all next season or not, I think Jordan Love will be the starter, so that could be... I thought he was zipping that ball around. We'll get into the Packers, obviously, when we get down to them. But, I think the NFC North with the Lions, too, in there is going to be a very tight division. I think they'll be certainly in the playing spoiler category, definitely not in the wild card round, in my opinion. Okay, I think I got the Bears pretty well accurate on that. If Kirk doesn't get hurt, I think that division is even tighter than it really was. But overall, yeah, it's amazing. The Bears they moved up quite a bit, obviously. They didn't have to fight for that number 1 pick. They ended up with like 7 wins, and they ended up playing spoiler just solely because of their division, which is what I was saying. The Bengals. Now, this one is one I like them at Super Bowl favorites. Wrong. We can move on. Thank God. We'll say about the Bengals really quickly. I was obviously depending on Joe Burrow being healthy, but I don't think even if he was healthy, they'd be Super Bowl favorites this year. They have a pretty solid roster outside of Watson, but like I've been saying, that AFC North is a very weirdly tight division. So I'm going to put them in the playing spoiler as well, just because if the Bengals are Super Bowl favorites and I have the Ravens at wild card, we're not going to see 3 AFC North teams in the playoffs. I know that for a fact. Where do I get my facts from? Because that's statistically incorrect. We do have 3 AFC North teams in the playoffs this year. What I will say about the Browns pick there is that I was correct in saying that the rest of their team is very, very good. And in my defense, who really thought that Joe Flacco was going to come on the scene and absolutely just rip everything apart? Like, he looks so good, and I don't think anybody saw it coming. So I was incorrect, but with Deshaun Watson, like, that's kind of how they looked. So I'm not too upset about that pick. We'll put him in the wild card, bottom of wild card, because you never know. They're probably going to make the playoffs. I mean, the Eagles were solid this year. I don't think we've seen
it. Solid.
When was the last time we saw an NFC East divisional champion repeat? It's not very often, I know. They'll definitely get in the playoffs. They just love to get in to lose. I think that's what they like their goal at the start of every year. It was 2004 was the last time that there was a repeat champion in the NFC East. It was the Eagles. So I was right on about that, and I don't really have a great answer for this Cowboys team. They could go win the Super Bowl, but I think it's much more likely that they end up exiting early. So far so good on that pick, but obviously the playoffs will determine how correct I was. I'm not gonna be persuaded by having 6 teams in spoiler. Okay, I don't think these teams are gonna amount to much this next year. Maybe I should have added more tiers, but at this point, I'm still gonna keep going with what we've got. 1 year with Sean Payton, I don't think he's gonna turn around that quickly. So I was correct about the Broncos not making the wild card. I think they got a lot better. I think I was incorrect about that, but in general, they did not make the wild card. So pretty correct on that. I like them in the wild card for sure. And I'm going to put them at the top. I'm tempted to put them into the divisional round contenders, but I won't for now, just because... Actually, yeah, I will. I'll put them at the bottom of this tier. Okay, I think I was pretty much right on with that pick. I'm definitely a little bit confused as to, like, what these tiers are. I don't know. Is it, like, they might make the wild card round, and then it's up to, like, they're going to win the divisional round? I'm confused about that, but I kind of think I got the Lions right. I think that the Lions, if I'm interpreting the tier correctly to potentially win a divisional round game, I think I got the Lions right on that. Depends on Jordan Love, right? So I'm going to put them, this one might be a hot take, maybe not, but I'm going to put them at top of playing spoiler yet again, right? We're filling up this category. They didn't even make the playoffs this year, and they did have Aaron Rodgers. Maybe that was the reason they didn't make the playoffs. I don't know. So obviously incorrect on that one. The Packers did make the wild card round. They kind of snuck in. Obviously they were the 7th seed, so like I got pretty close on that. Thankfully I didn't say like divisional round contenders because I don't think that's true even at this point. Texans are definitely a playing spoiler. I definitely should have added more tiers now that I'm thinking about this. But hey, we'll get into that here. I wonder if we'll see. All of the crappy video making aside, way wrong on the Texans. Obviously, they made the wild card. I was pretty confident in them playing spoiler. Did not know at this point that the Texans would go 2-3 in the draft, which was absolutely electric. Even if I did know that, probably wouldn't have assumed that CJ Stroud would take them to the heights that he has. I don't feel too bad about that pick, but definitely incorrect. Actually, I haven't even put anyone in the fighting for number 1 pick. Let's put the Colts down here. Not sure why I just put him in there just because. Obviously wrong on that. They were 1 game away from making the playoffs. Okay, and we can honestly put the Panthers down here too. Got that one right then. I did not know I was going to move that. Now, this one I'm excited about. These Jaguars here, I like them high. I like them.
No.
Maybe not ahead of the Bills, but definitely in the divisional round.
Oh my God.
Obviously, way off on that one. I think my thought process was solid. I don't think that I was like super far off in that, but I was just incorrect. The Jags ended up losing the last game of the season after a really bad skid to end the year. They went like 1-5 in their last 6. Chiefs. If you're not saying the Chiefs are Super Bowl favorites, something you might need to do a little check in the mirror. Because look, I guess I got to go look in the mirror because they are not Super Bowl favorites this year. They are a very real threat for the next 10 to 15 years. That's a lot of years. I'll literally be 32 in 10 years. The Chargers in that same division here, it's a tough one. I think they're a wild card team again. I think they're probably bottom of the pack. They sneak in. They barely get anything done. And, we need to really start evaluating Justin Herbert at this point. That was hopeful thinking for the Chargers, and I still hold that belief. I really wish they would have gotten in, at least in some capacity. If they did lose in the first round, fine. I was incorrect about the Justin Herbert comment. I certainly think he's a very bright spot in that organization, and I want to see what they do with a new head coach next year, but just straight up wrong all around on the Chargers. The Rams, they finished second in the NFC West. They're 9-8, but it was probably the ugliest second-place finish. I'm looking at all these teams here. I think they are a spoiler team. Honestly, they're not. All right, here's the plan. I cannot take it anymore. I apologize to every single person who has seen this video, and I am very realistically very much thinking about taking it down at this point. I'm going to skip to the end. I'm going to evaluate the current layout that it has when all 32 teams are on there, and then I'm going to pull up the standings from last year, and I'm going to just see if I freaking copied the standings, because I'm reading off of a piece of cardboard that has the current standings at that point in the season. If I'm just ranking them based on that, if I don't make one prediction, I would unlist the video. All right, let's see. What do we got? Okay, so San Francisco and Eagles make the top 2 for the NFC side, the Super Bowl favorites. So it looks like I do have 14 teams in the playoffs per this. I went 50%. That's not good, okay? Why are we listening to me at all? I don't know. It's obviously I don't have expert insight here. I am very curious to see how much this matches with the standings from last year because, like, oh God, I'm looking right at it. This is horrible. Look at this. Look at how similar these two are. This is horrible. And I even sorted them left to right. Here's the bottom. Dear God. Did I have an original thought? A single original thought? So basically, I was incapable of having an original thought besides, like, the Jets. I would say my most incorrect ones were probably the Jags because that one doesn't hinge on injury. And then probably either the Browns or the Dolphins. Both of those were pretty far off. Rams are also really, really good. Overall, this list just sucks. I apologize to every single one of you guys. Hopefully, the channel is significantly better now. If you think it is, hit like and subscribe down below so I know that I'm doing something right. Shout out to RecNeps3 for the video idea. If you guys have any other ones you want me to do, put them in the comments below. I am thinking about starting some Madden up on this channel, so just let me know. I appreciate every single one of you guys for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.